Hello, my name is Diane again, and I am doing my tribute speech on Jim Thorpe. He is a member of the Sac and Fox Nation, which I am also affiliated with, and grew up one town over from where I currently reside. Here's his photo, and that is who we will be speaking about today. Imagine an athlete who could run faster, jump higher, and play harder than anyone else of his time. That was Jim Thorpe, a man born in Indian Territory in 1887, long before Oklahoma became a state. Thorpe was Sac and Fox, and his native name was Wathohuk, meant bright path. He truly lit a bright path for athletes around the world. Thorpe's life was not easy. He grew up in poverty, faced discrimination, and tragically lost his twin brother and both parents at a young age. With so much hardship around him, sports became both an outlet and stage where his natural gifts could shine. He first gained attention at the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania, where he stunned crowds with his speed and power. It was here that he caught the eye of Coach Pop Warner, who encouraged him to try track and field. Thorpe not only tried it, he dominated it. In 1912, he went to Stockholm, Sweden, to represent the United States in the Olympics. There he competed in two of the toughest events, the decathlon and the pentathlon. Against the best athletes in the world, Thorpe captured gold in both. When King Gustav of Sweden shook his hand, he told him, "Sir, you are the greatest athlete in the world." That moment made Thorpe a legend overnight. Newspapers everywhere praised him as a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Thorpe did not stop with track. He played professional baseball for years with the New York Giants. He played professional basketball, traveling with brainstorming teams around the country. Most of all, he was a football star. He could run, pass, kick, tackle with unmatched skill. In 1920, he became the first president of an American Professional Football Association, which later became the National Football League. Without Thorpe, the NFL might not be the way it did. He was a true pioneer who showed that one man could excel in almost any sport he touched. Yet his story was not one of triumph. In 1913, the International Olympic Committee stripped him of his medals, claiming he had been paid to play semi-pro baseball. The truth was that many athletes were doing the same thing, but Thorpe's native heritage and his lack of political power made him an easy target. His medals were gone, his name was clouded, and his reputation suffered for the rest of his life. It was not until 1983, 30 years after his death, that his medals were finally restored. That decision came too late for him to see, but it mattered for his family, his tribe, and the people who knew his greatness had been denied for far too long. As painful as the medal controversy was, an even greater injustice followed after his death in 1953. When Thorpe died, his third wife, Patricia, made a deal with two struggling towns in Pennsylvania. In exchange for money and the promise of a memorial, she sold his body to them. The two towns merged and renamed themselves Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. To this day, his body rests there thousands of miles away from Oklahoma, which he called home, and far from his people. His children and the Sac and Fox Nation have never accepted this. They fought for decades to bring him home. To them, this is not simply about where he is buried. It is about honoring his native identity and giving him the respect of being returned to his own homeland. In Native traditions, burial grounds are sacred. To sell a man's body for money and use it as a tourist attraction is not only disrespectful, it is inhumane. A human being is not property. The legal battle has been long and painful. In 2015, the Supreme Court refused to hear the family's case. That decision left Thorpe's body in Pennsylvania against the wishes of his children and his tribe. Imagine how you would feel if your father, your grandfather, or your tribal elder had been taken from his homeland and treated as an object for display. That is the injustice his family lives with today. For Native Americans, this fight is about dignity and sovereignty. For Oklahomans, it is about honoring one of our greatest sons. For sports fans everywhere, it is about recognizing that greatness should never be overshadowed by injustice. When we look at Jim Thorpe's life, we see both brilliance and heartbreak. He was called the world's greatest athlete because he earned that title in every sport he played. Yet he was also a man who faced prejudice, who was denied fair treatment, and who even in death has been denied peace. His story matters for us because it teaches two lessons. The first is that talent, courage, and perseverance can break barriers and inspire generations. The second is that injustice, if left unchallenged, can follow even the greatest heroes to their graves. Jim Thorpe's story is still being written. His family and his tribe continue to fight to bring him home. His legacy is taught in schools, honored in sports halls of fame, and remembered by Native communities that still see him as one of their brightest lights. He is a hero not just because he won medals and scored touchdowns, but because he represents the fight for respect and justice. So when we think about Jim Thorpe today, we should remember more than just an athlete. We should remember a man whose life reflected the struggle and the triumph of Native people. We should remember a man who proved that greatness is not about wealth or privilege, but about resilience and strength. Most of all, we should remember that he still deserves to come home. Jim Thorpe was more than an athlete. He was a symbol of endurance, identity, and greatness. His story teaches us that true legacy is not about medals, but about respect and justice. Jim Thorpe deserves to come home. Thank you.